What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. With that being said, man, I want to talk about a recent episode of Gil's Arenas, or it's called the Arena, where they were talking about who was it? Skip Bayless and I think the other guy's name Talib was talking about Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson, like his effort off season practice and stuff like that. Well, his lack of effort in off season, right? And I always said that with Lamar Jackson, you can tell that he's not really like on the off season. He really for a while he was working out and trying to get better on stuff, but now it just seems like the last couple seasons, Lamar Jackson, as far as like his off season workouts and stuff like that, kind of been a lackadaisical to say the least, right? And if you want to be able to compete with Patrick Mahomes, and the guy that's in Buffalo, or what's the kid? I keep forgetting the guy in Buffalo, man. This guy's a beast. But Jalen Hurts and all those guys, man, you got to put forth that effort. You got to put in that extra work because these guys are just, I mean, these guys are like these are the guys that Lamar Jackson is trying to catch. And you can't just rely on your physical ability. You know, I say this about athletes, not just in basketball, but even in football. Like guys that are exceptionally athletic and have set themselves apart as far as their athleticism and stuff like that. Like most of the time, that turns out to be a curse because when you have the type of talent athletically as somebody like a Lamar Jackson, you tend not to put too much into like learning how to actually play the game. And I even heard the guy, what's the guy named Coach JB said the same thing, right? You like when you are a 5-star athlete and you're a standout athlete, coaches don't even require these guys to learn how to play the game like on a mental level. Because you're having success physically, they allow you just to go ahead and live off of that and see how far you can carry them just on their physical ability. Then when you get to the NFL or you get to professional level, you're going against guys who are just as physically talented as you are. Then on top of that, they know the game of football. So really, if you're just relying on your physical attributes, then you're behind the 8 ball, right? Because I always say, like, the best athletes are the intelligent ones, not the ones who can run a 4.3 flat, or guys who with like a 48-inch vertical. Those are not the best athletes that want, you talking about a guy like Ray Lewis, who everybody said he was an undersized linebacker when he came to the league. Then this guy turns out to be one of the best, right? Physically, he wasn't as imposing, but the guy, he was a film junkie. Same thing with, people talk about Peyton Manning and how Peyton Manning just studied the game. What's Tom Brady? These guys, man, physically, I mean, they better athletes than like the average guy walking up and down the street. But when you're talking about at a professional level, guys who get paid to do this, day in and day out, you got to give yourself an edge. And it's a limit to how much weights you can lift. It's a limit to how fast you can run. But there's no limit to how much film you can study. There's no limit to how much you can know about the game, right? And so guys who have the talent that Lamar have, which not a lot of guys, but those guys just seem to put all their eggs in that talent basket. And when that physical talent when it erodes, then they don't have anything else to fall back on. Then you see the decline in their game, right? And so I'm going to play the audio from the Gil's Arenas where they actually talk about this. And they say about the football gods have not blessed Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson has not put in the work. So let's listen to the audio from the Gills Arena show.
You get out what you put in. Them football guys not gonna bless you. You gotta be there, bro. You gotta be there. You want to win a chip, you gotta be there. There's one guy who didn't go to OTAs, won a chip. His name is Thomas Everson Jameson Laney Caney.
Patrick Edward Brady.
The Ravens just aren't the Ravens anymore. They've lost their identity. They've lost their edge.
Being that Lamar was out, aren't you supposed to lean on Derrick Henry more? The fact that he's out and you don't lean on that, his last touch was in the early fourth quarter, gives point shaving to me.
Right.
It gives like we're not trying to win.
Yep. The Ravens is done. It's over with for them boys. Like we thought it was gonna come to week 18, Pittsburgh, Ravens win the division. Ain't even gonna come to that. Y'all down 2 games. They're gonna go to Green Bay, they're gonna lose.
Now they didn't lose, they won against Green Bay, right? But that's Talib. I'm not sure what his full name is, but let me play what he said again, man, because this is important about when you're talking about the football. He talking about the football guards. I don't know what's going on with this phone.
Hey man, I rock with Lamar, but I said at the beginning of the year, you get out. The football is not going.
Hold on, let me start this over.
You want to win a chip, you gotta be there. There's one guy who didn't go to OTAs, won a chip. His name is Thomas Everson Jameson Laney Caney.
Patrick Edward Brady.
The Ravens just aren't the Ravens anymore. They've lost their identity.
Yeah, see, all right, so this is the thing, like he was saying, you can't compete with Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts or any of the elite quarterbacks if you're not putting in that extra work. You know, like the football gods, like the guy said, the football gods are not going to award you if you don't put in that extra work. And I just don't think that Lamar Jackson as a quarterback, I still think he's a really good quarterback. But when you got to put in that extra work. And a lot of guys don't make that sacrifice. Like to be one of the best or be the best quarterback in the league, like that's a 24/7 job, you know, like around the clock, round the year job. And that's the type of sacrifice everybody not willing to make. That type of effort every night, everybody not going to put that type of effort in there, you know, to get that. And when you have the physical abilities that Lamar Jackson had, then maybe you get into the habit or you get to the mind frame, you think, well, I don't need to work out like that. I run a 4.3 flat. You know, I got world-class speed. You know, these linemen can't catch me because of how quick I am, right? Then after a while, you start taking them hits and you slow down. Now, the fact that you can't throw outside the numbers, that really hurts you now, because now you're not gonna be able to get away from those guys. Now you're in year 7, you can't get away from them. So now that you can't get away from them, you got to know how to move around in the pocket. You got to be able to make all the throws. But you didn't take the time to learn how to make all those throws on the field because you was relying on your physical attributes. And like it's like, you know, like they say with women, like beauty fades. Physical attributes, they fade. You're not going to always be able to run a 4.3, 4.32, and all that stuff, man. That world-class speed. And it don't take long. It really don't take long for those type of physical attributes to fade. You're not, like 5-7 years, that stuff is gone. I remember watching Earl Campbell when I was a kid, man. Earl Campbell was a dominant running back. He played in the NFL, I think, like 6 years. The way he played, you don't get to play like that, man. You don't, Barry Sanders played for 10 years, but Barry Sanders he was quick and he didn't take all those hits that Earl came. He didn't look for that contact that Earl took, right? But you can't, that's wear and tear. That kind of wear and tear on your body. Barry Sanders was like the anomaly. Like I said, if guys could catch Barry Sanders and they was able to hit him, Barry Sanders would not have lasted 10 years either, right? And Barry Sanders retired on his own terms. But these coaches got to let these football players know that, man, your physical is a small window for your physical attributes. The fact that Lamar Jackson is in year 7 with the physical attributes he had, I think that's amazing, right? You don't get that kind of time to learn the game most of the time, man. And the game is upstairs. It's upstairs. It's not in your legs. It's not in your shoulder. How far you can throw the ball. The guy Jeff George, man. They say Jeff George as a quarterback when he's with Atlanta, he was like one of the, had the strongest arm one of the strongest arms in the league. But Jeff George wasn't Peyton Manning. He wasn't Tom Brady. It's just they was different between the ears. He had a better arm than both of those guys. But between the ears, Tom Brady and Peyton Manning was like light years ahead of this guy, man. And I like Jeff George. I'm not trying to put Jeff George down. It's just a difference between relying on your physical abilities and trying to learn a game from a mental, get better mentally at the game. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.